are with Sharon Fant. OMG. Sharon, this is a conversation I've been wanting to have because I have so many questions for you. Oh my goodness. I have so many questions for you. So first of all, I have to introduce you. You are Sharon Fant, also known as Lavender, an incredible healing practitioner on the planet, and deep into wellness, specifically with helping people heal from diabetes, and an incredible caretaker of people, a nurse, registered nurse for over 35 years, and even a traveling nurse, right? Going to people's houses. Like that story, I was like, oh my goodness, that could be a book by itself, right?
Yeah, visiting nurse. I had a lot of different stories to tell in visiting nursing. Yep.
Oh my goodness.
A
Visiting
lot of
people.
things.
I mean, that takes a special kind of person, I think, to go in somebody's house, right?
Right. Because you never know what you're gonna get when you get there. You never know what you're gonna find. I'll say, put find. I've been into all different. I've been into hoarders' houses. I've been into immaculately clean houses. So yeah.
And you're going in there to heal people and to help them and to uplift them, right? With their
Right.
body temple. And they may be really strange. Something strange may unfold.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wow, congratulations. So tell us, what did I miss in the introduction? Introduce yourself to us as you would introduce yourself.
Okay. Well, my name is Sharon Fant, and I am a registered nurse. And like you said, I have actually like 38 years experience working in healthcare. And no, I didn't start when I was a teenager, but yeah, but pretty close.
Well, how is it that you're still looking like you was about 38?
I don't know what I always had a youthful look. Yeah. So, but I'm over 60.
Woo!
Yeah. I'm in my 60s. Yeah. I'm in my 60s.
Goodness. Oh my goodness. I love it. I love it.
And that's a story in itself, because, when you get over 60, usually people like retire. And I've decided that I'm just going to do more things.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Do more things and not less things. So.
Ooh, do more things, not less things.
Exactly.
Oh, I love that. And this is perfect timing because my big 6-0 is coming up this Monday. So we're filming this. Yay! October 4th is my birthday. I think one of your kids is a Libra also, right?
Well, my daughter-in-law is.
Oh, your daughter-in-law.
Yeah, my daughter-in-law is, her mother is, and so is one of her sisters. They're all Libras.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of Libra energy around there, right?
Right.
There's a lot of Libra energy. So I have a birthday coming up this Monday. As we film this, we're filming this on October 1st. And even though it's timeless, what we're going to be talking about, I just throw the date in there because I have the 60th birthday coming up. So I think that's a good thing to add to my birthday, mantra, or how you have an ethos, or you kind of look at your life and kind of determine, where am I going? What am I doing? Mm-hmm. And that introspection is so profound and powerful. I've been doing a lot of that. And I'm going to add that I'm going to do more things, not less. Because that is kind of work. Right? Yeah. I don't need to be going down. I need to be accelerating.
Right. Because we all have this big list of things that we've never done before. And so when are we going to do them? And especially if you're like in the 60s, you can't stop because you have all these things you've never done and you want to live life to the fullest. So that's where I am. Yeah. To the fullest.
To the fullest. So how did we meet? You want to tell that story? I'll tell the story too from my perspective, but how did we meet?
Well, we met. I was browsing the internet and I was also browsing YouTube, and I was looking for ways to, make extra money because I've always worked a full-time job, but I also always had like a side gig or, like more than one stream of income. And I was browsing, and then I found this video that you did. You had on your leopard outfit and and you were talking about why Black people didn't have money or something like that. And so when I saw that video, I was like, oh, wonder, like I never heard of her, right? And so I started watching your videos, and then I started seeing your your videos about witchcraft and your videos about metaphysics, and like that was all intriguing to me, even though I stopped because of the wealth information, but I continued on because of the metaphysics and the magic and all of that. So so I can't remember how I contacted you. I think that you had you had your coaching program, and I asked for more information. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's right.
Right.
Wow. Wow. I tell you, that rant that I went on, almost a million views later, that rant I went on with that leopard coat in the car. It's legendary at this point. It's legendary. Now I had
Right.
no idea. When
So I was one of those million people. Right.
so glad. I'm so glad because it has been a delicious. You're one of my favorite people in the world that I really respect a lot.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, a lot. Have a lot of respect for you. And what I saw you walk through. So let's get into your story. So when we met and you came into the coaching program, you set up the appointment. We had the conversation. I was doing a money mastermind for the year. And you came into the money mastermind program and you had a pretty singular focus. Do you want to talk about it?
Well, my whole thing was I was ready to quit my job and couldn't figure out how I was going to do it. I'm one of those people that I had the money, but I was like saving the money in case something happened that other people in my family might need it. Not that I might need it, but that other people. I'm such a helper, like a chronic helper, that I'm saving my money in case someone in my family needs it. So, but I also in the back of my mind wanted to quit my job, but I couldn't see how I could quit my job and still have money to help people in my life. So that's kind of where I was. And that's why I wanted to know more about the wealth, but because I'm in health and wellness, and I needed to know more about the metaphysics that you were talking about and the magic, because some kind of way that intrigued me in the background of my health and wellness. The metaphysics and the magic intrigued me because it was something there I didn't know about. I just knew it was something there in the back of my mind. So with that, so if you have a question, yes, that's good.
I was wondering, did you know at that point that you were a witch?
No, actually, no, I didn't. I just knew that there was something about it. And I do know that like my great grandmother, she used to like create these different herbal type remedies to give to us when we were ill or when we didn't feel good, or we use all kind of crazy stuff. She had us putting like kerosene on our cuts and just crazy stuff. But anyway, I didn't see her as witchy. I just saw her as like someone who knew how to use herbs, and I didn't see myself that way though, not at that point. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
When did it start to really blossom within you that you were watching and intrigued by witchy things because you had the witchiness inside you?
So when did that occur?
Yeah, when did that happen?
Well, okay, so we were in the Enlightenment Circle.
Yes.
Yeah. So you had the Enlightenment Circle, and I had signed up to be a part of that. And I'd already signed up to be a coaching client.
Yes. So you got the Enlightenment Circle included too with that.
Right.
package.
Right. There was a lot of things included, which
Yes.
I am so thankful for, because
yeah.
yeah, if it wasn't for those things included, those extra things included in the coaching program, I'm real sure I wouldn't have visited all the countries that I visited with you inside of that coaching program. I wouldn't have went,
Wow.
but because the program covered it, then I just went for it. And with the Enlightenment Circle, there were a lot of discussions about a lot of things. And in that circle, there were other people with, I'll say the magic intuitions, and the more I thought about and I would hear them talk about different things that they were doing, the more I thought about it, like, oh, okay, I like that too, and it's just that I think the Enlightenment Circle helped me to see that there were other people that had some of the same inklings, I'll say, that I had. and that it was okay. And the reason I say that is because I grew up, you know, highly religious is what I'm going to say, you
In
know.
the church,
Right.
in the
You know,
church.
so I grew up highly religious. And so some of those things that I would have been doing, like in the world of magic and herbs and remedies and all that, looked like you were going to go to hell if you did them. Okay. So,
Wow. And it's
so
fascinating because these things that we're talking about are from nature,
yes.
made by God, that by the divine. Yet if you
Mhm.
tap into those energies, it's evil somehow and associated with the devil.
Right. And during that time, I also did some research. I'm a researcher. You know, for anybody out there, I'm a researcher. I like to research. I'm online looking at all types of things. But I did some research on witches, and you know, because I needed to know. And so what I discovered was witches were misunderstood, and that witches were actually healers. And so when they were quote unquote caught doing magic, what they were caught doing was healing people, you know, and that was one, you know, like I would say almost 100% of the time they were doing something that was bringing healing to the person, and they actually had to tell the person, don't tell anyone.
Wow.
Kind of like what Jesus said, don't
Yeah.
go and tell anyone I did this. Okay.
Because there would be no logical explanation for it, how it worked, other than knowing the properties and the energies of these plants and of what you're working with and the crystals and the stones and the water from the river and all of that, that the witch is naturally in tune to. There would have been no quote unquote scientific, even though science was sparse back in the day, right? 15,
Right.
1600s,
Right.
right? There would
Yeah.
have been no logical explanation for how the witch would have been able to effect these kinds of cures and changes for people other than evil witchcraft.
Right. And of course that was some propaganda during the time to make it evil, you know, instead of good. You know, like it could have been seen as good, but why not? Why not have seen it as good? Because they were healing people, and you know, they were healing men and women and children, families, you know, they were, you know, just helping people all around. But instead of seeing it as a good thing, the propaganda of the day saw it as a bad thing or an evil thing or not of God, when actually it was, because when you compare some of the things that Jesus did in the Bible, it was some of the same things. And so that was actually part of my research of what was Jesus doing. I'm over here in a religious church, right? And it's like, well, what was Jesus doing? And when you read the scriptures, he did some of those same things. He healed people. He did Reiki. He did energy healing. He did all types of things, you know. So it's like, oh, if he can do it, like, and then he said, you're going to do more things than I'm doing. So it's like, it's okay. So I actually, it took me a while to accept, I guess, that it's okay to work with herbs and crystals and all of that kind of thing. It's okay to do it.
Wow. How did that go over with your church friends and family?
You know, I never really just outwardly said, you know, that I'm a witch. And but I think that people may have suspected different, you know, may have suspected something, but no one actually asked me.
Are
And
you a witch? No one has the nerve.
but because of my fears, I kind of was undercover for a long time.
What made
And
you?
I just maybe
Mhm.
like within the last year and a half, you know, like said that I'm interested in holistic healing and herbs and crystals and all different types of modalities of healing that is not traditional and it's not quote unquote normal. So it's, you know, so I just got out of being undercover.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but I
Wow.
was undercover, but I knew in my heart that I needed to like come out of the closet, if you will, about my abilities. It's like my intuition. And then I also got more training. I actually leaned more toward shamanism than I did witchcraft, but however, it's the same thing.
Hmm.
Yeah, it
What's with
is.
the same energies?
Yeah, it's the same thing. And because of that, it's like, okay, but I've had a lot more training in the shamanistic type practices that actually helped me to uh, hone my intuition, because I went from like barely knowing much about my intuition to, working on it and practicing to the point that it is easy for me to like sense when something's out of order with someone,
Mm.
uh,
Mm.
especially like with the body, more so than the emotions. But the shamanism helps with emotions, the body, the mind, the spirit, all of that. And so that's where I am now. I just recently I did my very first shamanic energy healing retreat.
Oh!
Yeah, so
How was it?
it went okay for the first one. I co-facilitated with another shamanic practitioner, and she owns a farm in Virginia, and we had it on her farm. We had campfires, we had energy healing sessions, we did grounding. We actually had 2 people to register. However, we believe that it will double and continue to double, and we'll have another one next month in October. Well, this month in
Ooh.
October, this month we're having another one.
Do you
Yeah,
have a
so
link
we're
for it?
expecting more people this time. But the
Oh,
more
good.
we get the word out, because it's in its infancy, I'll say.
Yes. Oh, I love it. Do you have a link for it? Because we'll link below in the description.
Well, I do. I can send you. It's a website. She's managing the website. It's it it won't come to me now, but I will
Yeah.
send it to you so that you can post it. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll link it up for sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love that. Now, question. How deeply religious were you? What was your church life like?
Well, I grew up in the Baptist church, and there I was definitely involved. I was a Sunday school teacher. I was an usher. Yeah, I was there every time the church door opened. And that was in Arkansas. And when I moved to Texas, then I found a non-denominational church, and I did the same thing there. I was on different committees, and I worked with the women's group, and I worked with the youth ministry. I did all of that, and pretty much was there whenever the doors opened. So I was really involved.
Wow. When did that start to change for you?
Well, it
When
actually
were you
started to
not
change
like all in? Uh-huh.
when I signed up for your program is when it started. if you if you really want to know the truth.
Oh, I stole some more faithful church members. Uh-oh.
Yeah, because I actually, decided that I'm just going to follow, you know, follow whatever this is that's leading me. Okay.
Mm,
And at the time, I didn't know, like, it actually was Holy Spirit leading me.
yeah.
I couldn't see it that way at first, but we're all brought to the planet for a reason. Um, and we're not going to leave until we fulfill that purpose, right?
That's right.
So I really believe that it was the Holy Spirit that led me in this path. Otherwise, I don't think I would have ever been connected to that video, and then to you, and then to being a part of the Enlightenment Circle, and and all the other things that we got accomplished in the program.
Who we did so much. I mean, y'all did so much that year. So much. So
Absolutely.
oh my goodness, it was amazing. I mean, it was amazing what y'all accomplished. So tell us about the job. How did it unfold? Now you had a good, cushy position. You were running things at the job. Most of my clients are very successful people, right? Doctors,
Right.
and attorneys, and nurses, medical professionals, and healing people and helping people. And they're paid well. And it's not easy to leave a good job.
That is correct. And I had always had this goal of quitting my job. I think not always, I'll say like in the last 5, before I quit, it was like 4 to 5 years of saying, I'm going to quit my job on the 4th of July. that's Independence Day. That's what I kept saying, you know, but I never did. So, you know, a couple of years went by and I never did. And then, you know, things happened in my family. My sister was ill. She had cancer. She had lung cancer, and she had brain cancer. So it had metastasized to her brain and other parts of her body. And this all during the time that I am not in your program yet. But I wanted to be in your program, and I needed to pay for your program. However, didn't have the courage to sign up for your program, even though my heart was saying sign up for the program. My brain was saying that's going to be crazy because you need to be here to help your sister because she's going to need money, you know, like in case something happened. So I was like in this limbo, and you had to coach me through what my big picture is and coach me through getting the courage to do what I knew I needed to do to opt into your program. So I went ahead and opted into your program, and you know, and I said everything's going to work out with my sister. However, my sister did pass away, and I had supported my nieces in the funeral, my niece for the funeral, and within, when the funeral was taking place, so after the funeral, within a week of the funeral, all the money that I had paid for my sister's funeral came back to me through gifts and offerings, and it just came back, you know, like, and we're talking about
Thousands.
tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, because it's not inexpensive to be generous in a time when we're laying someone to rest and you want to do it in a certain way.
Right. And so that happened in March of 2018. Well, I signed up in January, but my sister passed away in March of 2018. And then right after that, like I said, all the monies were like coming from everywhere. I don't know where the money came from, but I know the money came. It came
from the universe.
It was supposed to come. The universe brought it back, right? And so I didn't miss anything. Whereas before I was like on this teeter-totter, no, what if this and what if that? And so I want to tell anybody who's on this teeter-totter, what if this and what if that, just go ahead and go with your gut feeling or your intuition, and don't let your fear take over, because that's what was happening before I had the conversation with Coach KAISI. So yeah, just go ahead and follow your intuition. And like I said, the universe brought all the money back and some.
I mean, that is an incredible story. If I can just put a little interjection in here, because there were two levels of the program. There was a $10,000 level of the program, and then there was the mastermind level, $25,000, that included a lot more goodies, like the retreats, like private coaching, and things that were not available in the other programs. Right. And you went for the $25,000 package. Now, was it worth it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So my life has been exponentially changed. You know, I do know that it was priceless. I'm going to say that just like the commercial says, you know, I cannot say, you know, all the things that I've been exposed to, all the places that I've been, all the people that I have been exposed to, I believe was a result of my just pushing through all my, you know, fear and whatever else was there, and go ahead and do the darn thing, as you say. So after my sister passed away, you know, I had all these inquiries for myself, you know, like, okay, my sister was younger than me. And it's like all these inquiries came up, like, okay, well, why you keep putting things off, and you say you want to quit your job, and you're not doing anything, and it looks like you're going to keep working after July the 4th this year too. Okay, so
except you was in coaching with KAISI,
right?
That was the differentiator from all the other 4th of July.
Exactly.
No,
That was the difference.
It's either going to piss or get off the pot. It's going to be something.
Right. And that was the big difference. It actually was, because I didn't have anybody to make me see what my value was, what I was capable of. I mean, because I have, like you mentioned earlier, I had worked for years, for other companies, making them look good, helping them make money, and my salary was good. I made nearly $100,000 a year. And it's like, okay, I got to let go of that. But if I don't let go of that, I'm not going to get what it was like. I was holding on to something. I think there's like a story about the monkey putting his hand in the jar, and he's got it all fits in a fist, and he can't get his hand out of the jar now, but he just needed to let whatever that he was holding on to go so that he can get his hand out of the jar. And so I was kind of like in that kind of position, like, let go of this and then you'll get that.
Mm. And we always have to let go before we see,
Right.
The universe. We can't say to the universe, show me your hand first before I let go.
Right.
It doesn't work like that.
Right. Yeah, you have to go in not knowing. And that's a big step right there to because I got to be in control, right? It's like, I got to know. And then I had to be in a position where it's okay to not know, because that part of my future is none of my business.
Wow.
And I don't need to try to like dictate that, or like, create it, make a plan, all of that, so let go and stop trying to be in the control of everything. You're going to mess up if you keep doing it your way. And so I had to like do it the universe way.
So what happened in the coaching, and what happened come 4th of July?
Okay. So come 4th of July, I'm all ready to quit. But then I looked in my back, like in my, we had each employee had places that they could go to see what their benefits were and all of this sort of stuff. So I was going to be leaving, if I quit on the 4th of July, I was going to be leaving probably about $8,000 on the table if I left, because I had like vacation I hadn't taken. I had stuff in the places, like financial things in places, and I was going to lose it if I didn't wait to the end of July. So I think we had a discussion about that, and I went ahead. I still quit in July, but I didn't quit on July 4th because I felt like it really would have been foolish for me to leave that $8,000 on the table. So I gave my 2-week notice, but I'll say notice, but I still stayed until like July the 30th. And I told them I was
2 weeks vacation in there too.
Yeah. That was all money that I would have lost, and time that I would have lost. So yeah, there was vacation time, like almost 3 weeks worth of vacation time. So it's
that you took in July.
Right.
So you really didn't work the whole month of July.
Not really.
Okay.
Yeah, I did not.
And still got your money.
I still got my money, and fulfilled the goal that I had to quit for July. I'll say it. The goal was July 4th, but really, probably in my mind, July 4th was my quit date.
Probably was
because I was on vacation the rest of that time.
You was on your vacation the rest of the month.
Right. So that's how that occurred. And like, even with that, I had to be in like flow, like a flow state and not be in control. So, yeah.
And how did that feel when you finally left the job that you had been threatening to leave for a while? How did you feel when you did it?
It was a little bit of bittersweet because, I really liked my coworkers, and and I've worked for a long time. I worked since I was like 15 years old, doing summer jobs and things like that. And so I was a little bit afraid, but I also was free. Like I had this free mind. Like it was like cleared up something in my brain, like I had all these thoughts and ideas, and like, when am I going to do these ideas that I keep getting these downloads for? Like, when am I going to do this stuff? Because I can't keep working in corporate America and then burning the candle on the other on the other end to get these ideas that I keep getting these downloads about out of my head. So
Yeah.
it all worked out. It all balanced out.
Oh my goodness, it always does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It always does. And you had the kind of job that wasn't a relaxed kind of job. Because some people, they can your job seemed like it required inner resources. You had to travel with your job. You had
Right.
big responsibilities.
Yes.
So this was a job that you couldn't really have kept doing the job and done your own thing and honored your own thing with that job. Could you have?
Right. No, I couldn't have it because like you said, I did do travel with the company. I did auditing. So I was busy all the time. And if I allowed it, I could work a 12-hour day really easily.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I had to put up some parameters, and guidelines about, how long I'm going to work, but I could easily, it was that much work because it was a small department with a lot of work that needed to be done for the couple people that were part of that. And then sometimes we would have major projects that we would have to hire temps to help us with. So yeah, it was, and even when we had the temps, we had to oversight the temps, train the temps, all of that. So it was a lot to do.
It was a lot. Can we chat for a moment about your coworkers? So you had someone at your workplace that you really didn't want to let down because he really, really leaned on you a lot, right? And you're such a good worker, absolutely, just the boss. You can just run things and people know that if they put it in your hands, it's going to get done, right? And this is a big thing that comes up with a lot of people that have a lot of responsibilities at their workplace that they're afraid to leave, or they feel a little guilty leaving because they know all the things in the office or they know how to do it and people rely on them. So
right.
How did you navigate that?
Okay. So in my mind, I'm still quitting on the 4th of July. And I wasn't sure how I was going to tell my manager because like we were like friends, we became friends when I started working with him, but we were like really close. And so I didn't want to like let him down. And like you said, yeah, I was feeling kind of guilty. I'm going to be leaving him with all this stuff and it's going to take him a little bit to hire somebody to take my place. And so I'm thinking, my goodness, I'm like, how am I going to tell him that I'm going to be, quitting? So one day he asked me, I'm just doing all this in the back of my mind, and on my desk, on my computer desktop, I already had my resignation letter already written, but I had not sent it to anybody. Like I was just keeping it there. I was going to change the date when I needed to, but it was already written that I was going to be, this is my resignation letter. But then one day, before I got to give him my resignation letter, he said, "Hey, Sharon, I need to talk to you in a room, like come back here to this room. I need to talk to you." So I'm thinking in my head, did he see my resignation letter?
Am I in trouble? What's going on?
Why is he calling me back here to this little private room? Because and so we went back there and he shut the door and then he said he has something to tell me. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I don't remember telling anybody that I was quitting my job. Like, what is he going to offer me a coat? Like offer me more money to stay? Like, I wasn't sure what was going on.
Right.
So,
I mean, it's very intriguing when they call you in the back room and close the door. It's like, what's about to happen? Yes.
Exactly. So he said, I have something to tell you. And so I said, okay, like very had, reservations or whatever. And I said, okay, and so I just being quiet. He said, I just needed you to know, because I want you to be the first one to know that I'm quitting my job and moving to another department. I was like, what? So he wanted me to know how hard it was for him to take a new job and move to a whole nother department. And I'm like,
I didn't want to leave you. And you leaving me?
Right. And I'm thinking to myself, he had no reservations leaving me. That's what I thought. But he said it was hard. Okay. He said it was hard to make a decision.
Yeah, which it
But
probably was for him.
yeah, so that please be you let your own conscience be your guide. Okay. So because no one else is gonna consider you when they get ready to quit. Okay. So I'm telling you, anybody who out there thinking about quitting, go ahead and do what your man tells you to do. So yeah, so he had a 2-week notice thing too. So
wow.
yeah, he was gonna be leaving me there, and I was gonna be the only one for the 4th of July. Okay.
I always love that story. When you told
It's
me
too
that
funny.
Coach,
It really
like,
is.
oh my. You were like, Coach, guess what? He's leaving. I'm like, oh my.
He didn't leave the building, but he left the department. Right. So he was going to be working with a new manager, new, people that was over him, and
new different something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Doing something different. He wanted to do something different, kind of like me, but he wanted to stay in corporate America, but I was ready to leave it, so.
Wow. So I love how you overcame the fear. I love how you overcame doing things for other people, over taking care of other people so that you could take care of yourself. I love how you overcame the attachment to the money, that if I give this money, oh my goodness, I'm not gonna have anything left, and it all came back to you. I love that you let go of the control and said, you know what, I'm not driving anymore. Let me let the universe drive.
Right. Yes.
And I love that you got over the conformity of being at the church every time the doors open, and now moving into acceptance of witchcraft as healing.
Yes.
And right, acceptance of connection with your ancestors that were healers.
Yes.
And honoring your path as a shaman and openly saying, I am healing with energy, crystals, herbs.
Right.
I mean, that's profound. That's profound. Then you went on the retreat, because we had several retreats that year. So you went to Bali, you went to Peru, you went to Sedona, you went to Salem. You went so many places.
Oh yeah.
About that.
Yes. So I think the first retreat was you're booking 5 days in Bali. That's the first major retreat. And of course, I'd never been to another country before outside of Cancun. Not Cancun, but I went on a Cozumel, cruise, but that was it. It was on a cruise. You were on the land for just a little while, but going to Bali was major, like this. I mean, I'm in the air for like 18 hours, this is an 18-hour flight. So I went there, and so Bali was amazing. There was so much energy in the air, because in Bali, what I discovered was that there were gods and goddesses, all over the place. Everywhere. And they had temples everywhere. So it was a very spiritual place that I did not know before going, that it was a very spiritual place. And I actually had some spiritual encounters that I never had ever before. And if I, like I had the channeling that took place. And just the place itself was so beautiful. There was flowers everywhere. There was big waterfalls, and we just had a wonderful time. And I did write my first book. You wrote your first book about? Your doctor is not the boss of you. Your doctor is not the boss of you. And wasn't that timely that you wrote that book before we had all the shenanigans of 2020? Oh my goodness. What's it about? So it is my testimonial. I have it here. It is my testimonial about what I did using natural and holistic methods to reverse type 2 diabetes. Now they say that's within 90 days. Wow. Now, don't they say that you can't reverse type 2 diabetes? Isn't that what they say? Well, some people believe that you cannot, but it's not true. Okay. You can reverse it. You can take your high A1Cs down from like a 15 to a 5, right? And you were considered reversed when your A1C levels are within the normal range. That is the technical way that you're diagnosed with a reverse type 2 diabetes. Yeah.
Wow.
So I wrote this book, and so it was in 2018.
Yes.
And so
At the Bali retreat.
at the
How
Bali
was that
retreat.
process? How was it writing the book? Because we had some moments, didn't we?
Yeah, we had assignments to do, and we had the classes, and it was just amazing. So this is for those people who think that they can't do a book. Like, they've been saying they're gonna write a book for like 20 years. Been saying they're gonna write a book, and they never wrote it. I would say the next time that Coach KAISI has one of those your book in 5 days, I say go, because it actually put us in high gear, a high thought process of getting a book put on paper. Now, I didn't get it just totally in the way that I needed to be published, but I got everything on paper, and I pushed the publish. Yeah, I pushed the public.
On Thursday night,
right.
Friday morning.
And then I went back later and did some little cleaning up and wrapping it up and that kind of thing. But yeah, so the 5 days. Yeah.
We go from Monday to Friday.
Right.
And we arrive on Sunday. Then we go
Right.
Monday to Friday.
Right.
And then Friday afternoon, it's over at 12 noon,
Yeah.
right? And Thursday night, you cannot go to bed until you push the publish button.
Right. Yeah. Push the publish button. And that was something right there, getting everything like from a outline type of thing, and what I want to say. There was a lot of things for me to say, and I don't know, they can't see it, but I have like 100 and something pages, but that makes a book.
Yes.
Okay. So, and it was just amazing. Yeah.
Oh.
And I still, this book is still on Amazon, and I still get money for this book.
Hello, from a book you wrote years ago.
Right.
We're going on 3 years now.
Right.
And what happened after you wrote that book? Now that you got the process at the retreat of how to create books, then what did you do?
So then I wrote another book. Yeah, so I thought, like I had information here about what I did, but then I created this workbook, and this is a guide that has guideline sheets. It's got journal pages. It's got all these things to keep people focused on reversing their diabetes. So it's like all these step-by-step guides. It's called Become a Diabetes Dominator Workbook.
Ooh.
Yeah, and so this has helped a lot of people.
I'm sure.
Because it's already there's little lesson plans in here. There's lessons, and then there's a checkoff list and things like that to kind of keep people focused on what they're doing, and just giving them a guide. Where people are like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to eat. All of that's in here. So all of that is in this book.
The vibes I'm getting from this, before we go into your next delicious creation, the magazine, this is modern day witchcraft healing, because you might not be able to go to the village and touch every person with this herb or that oil. Now you can put it in a book, and you can still heal people all over the world.
Exactly. And what I wanted was passive income, because I didn't want to be there every time. Because as a nurse, as a visiting nurse, I had to be there. As a regular nurse working in a hospital, I had to be there. So I wanted a way, and through your program, I discovered ways that we can earn income without being there. So I'm pretty sure I sell some of these books at night, while I'm
I'm pretty sure they're selling right now while we're on this video. Hello.
Yeah, so
Indeed.
definitely.
It's a powerful tool when you learn how to publish your own work, isn't it?
Exactly. And I have supported other people in writing their own book as well. Self-publishing. So yes, I knew that. I didn't know, but I just had a feeling that it was going to be hard for me to find a major publisher. So self-publishing is really the way to go. I'll say, if you don't have a whole lot of money for a publisher, or you're not going to get a book deal, just still don't let that stop you from writing a book. Because you can self-publish.
Absolutely. Our little fur friend is crying, huh? Our little fur friend is crying.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Okay, I didn't even. I don't know why she decided to come over here today
Oh,
to be with me.
she wanted to be in the conversation and tell A-okay. Tell her she's in the conversation and we take
Okay.
her. Because she was like, how come y'all are not talking to me?
Right. And it's like, well, who are you talking
Yeah,
to?
who are you talking to? What's going on? I don't see anybody else here, but I hear a voice.
Right. So, yeah.
So now tell us about your latest creation. Now you blossom to a whole magazine. I was so happy when you sent me the link for it. We're going to link all these deliciousness, all these delicious goodies.
Well, I like magazines and I like books. So I'm a reader, and and I thought to myself, it would be nice to have a magazine, and then I can help other people like with their business. I'm still helping people, right?
Yes.
And I've met a lot of people in my journey since I, flipped the switch and went into the world of magic and healing and metaphysics and all of that. So I'm like, all these people know so many different things, and I'm going to create a magazine like as a platform for some of them to like get their information out or get their business out, and then I can earn an income in the meantime.
Yes.
So that's where that came from. And then I went online, and one of the magazines that I actually like is Oprah's magazine.
Yes.
And among others, family circle. I have like those kind of things too, because I have 4 children, for those who don't know, but they're all adult. But Family Circle is one of my favorite magazines when I was raising them. But yeah, so magazines are popular and it's filled with a lot of information. And so this magazine was a way for me to get information out to people, because I'm all about awareness. That's my key word. Like one of those words that you live by is awareness, because sometimes people don't know what they don't know. And once I can create some kind of way for them to have this awareness to what's going on outside their 4 little walls, then that is what I wanted to do, is to bring some awareness to all these different alternative medicines, awareness to different modalities and techniques to heal the body outside of traditional medicine, and without picking up a pharmaceutical bottle.
That's key. That's key. What's the name of the magazine? I bought it. I love
Natural Healing Magazine.
Natural Healing Magazine. Oh
Yes.
My goodness. So how is it going? How do you love the process? How is it going?
Well, it's my first issue that went out on September, like the first week of September. So it's for September, October. It is a bi-monthly magazine. It'll come out every other month. My next issue will come out in November, the first week of November. And right now it'll stay that way as I learn how to do a magazine. So it's been really wonderful I had some interns, some college interns that supported me. People who I knew wrote articles, and as you can see in the magazine, there were articles from all kinds of people, right? People with all different kinds of backgrounds. So we got it done. And it was, I'm still learning. So, cause I'm learning how to market it, how to monetize it more, how to get more ad monies and that kind of thing. So I'm still, in a learning process, but I'm happy that I did it. And because I'm all about doing things that I never did before. And, of course, my friends are like, what are you up to now? Right.
Right. People have to ask you because they know you're up to something.
Right. Yes. Because, at 60 something, people are resting.
Wow.
And I'm not resting.
No way. I feel like you're just getting started good at 50 something. That's how I felt in my 50s.
Right. Yeah, I'm not going to let my age be a limitation.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
So now, can we also go to it? We're going to definitely link up the magazine as well so people can hop in and buy the magazine. Can I ask you a question about if we can hop over to Peru? So we were in Bali. Can we hop over to Peru?
Yes.
Goodness.
That was a different experience as well. And I think that it was an experience that I needed to have. And I think that you mentioned to us that we're going to get ayahuasca, that you needed to be called, right? that the mother ayahuasca would call you. And I felt like I was called, and it was there that I got my spirit name, which is Lavender. And so I had 3 ceremonies. I'm trying to remember, 2 or 3 ceremonies, but I had quite some experiences with, and everybody's experience is different. And we would have a debriefing. And the experience that I had, one of the experiences I had was that I was pulled into a spaceship, but I resisted. The first ceremony that I had, I resisted going into the spaceship, and then my coaching was to let it go and go ahead and and trust it and go into the ship, because I wasn't going.
So what caused you to be to say in the ayahuasca journey? How did it happen that they were taking you into the spaceship? How did that happen?
Well, I didn't know why they were taking me into the spaceship, but in the coaching sessions after our ayahuasca ceremonies, there was the comment that I think you made, or somebody made. I think you made it, but you said, "What if you were being taken into the spaceship to learn a new way to heal?" Like, what if you're going into that spaceship and the aliens were going to show you a way to heal the humankind? And if you don't go, you're going to miss out on that, or you're going to miss out on the opportunity to find out what it's going to take to heal the humankind. And because I'm all about healing, I'm like, dang, I don't want to not do that, right? It's like,
and it was just like came to me intuitively, because aliens had not come to take anyone else on.
Right, no one else.
The whole experience with us.
Right, no one else.
They only came for you.
Right. And I will say, I was not the only medical person.
Right.
There was a nurse practitioner there, and she didn't go on a spaceship.
No.
So
everyone's having their own experience.
Yeah, everybody had their own experiences, but again, I'm thinking, well, maybe it was because I'm in the medical field, but no, she was in the medical field too. She didn't have that experience. So I thought to myself, yeah, I guess I probably better just let it go, just whatever the resistance that I was having. And I did let it go. And I experienced a lot of light. I saw images. I didn't see people. I didn't see the aliens or whatever. I just saw images. And I had no fear. After I got in there, I had no fear.
And they carried you in. And in the first ceremony, when they carried you in, they were carrying you in feet first, correct?
Yeah, and I was resisting it.
Okay.
But then this time, it was like I was being picked up, like gently, and pulled in, and I wasn't kicking and probably screaming, but I wasn't doing all of that this time. They gently pulled me into where I was to go. And I really don't exactly remember everything that happened. I just know I did go in, and whatever I got there, I really believe it's to be revealed, and or I'm already doing some of the things that it wanted me to do.
I think that's what happened, that there was some kind of activation when you went into that spaceship, because it was filled with light.
Yeah.
I remember your description of it when you came back, and I thought that looked like an alien, some kind of surgical room or something, like some kind of sterilized.
Yeah, it was very sterile, very clinical, as you would think, all white walls, all light, nothing there to indicate where you were. So it was, so it was very clinical and clean, but I do know something happened, but I just don't know. And that could be why I still continue to have all these downloads and ideas. Like even this magazine came from a download idea. And with the magazine, it just came out, like I said, the beginning of September, and I have it on a platform called issue.com. And so it's a online digital magazine. It's not a printed magazine. And we got analytics. So as of today, I have had over 2,000 impressions of people who have checked it out.
Wow. And it just came out.
Right, this month. And
That's incredible.
and 400 and something people have read some of the articles.
That
So it
is
shows
incredible.
that in the analytics.
That is incredible. And the
Yeah,
magazine is $4.99. I
right.
bought one. As soon as I saw it, I bought it.
Thank
And
you.
absolutely, because I know if it's coming from you, I know it's going to be quality. Because you're very, as you said, a researcher, and you're geared toward information. So I knew that it was
Exactly.
going to be packed with information. Oh, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, question. After going into the spaceship, how did the name come, Lavender? Because you received a new sacred name from the mother.
I actually received the Lavender name before going into the ship. Yeah, it came shortly after I got there, because that was on my intentions list, because we wrote out our intentions and put it in an envelope, and that was for me to have a spiritual name, and it actually came before that, but I also had an experience about lavender in one of my ceremonies, and so I'm thinking lavender like the herb, and I'm thinking that it's just all like something physical, like in regards to herbs and healing and all that kind of thing. But in this ceremony I had, the message kept coming to me that it's not lavender like the herb. It's not like that. It's like you are lavender.
Yeah,
And
I remember you said that. You said you are lavender. And I
right,
thought,
I'm like, why am I lavender? I was like,
wow,
I am
this is
lavender,
powerful.
which made
Yeah.
me think lavender meant something else, not like a herb. And so it said, no, you are lavender. That's what the ayahuasca message was. No, you are lavender. And I also got messages about my hair. Like my hair had, so right now I was thinking about cutting my hair, but then I keep remembering it's like, no, you can't cut your hair. Uh, it was a message about my hair, that it was supporting me in healing, in the healing of others. So I don't know how.
And you even got some of your strands of hair and put it in a vial, didn't you?
Right. Yes. And so yeah, again, I'm waiting for that. Like, that happened in 2018, but it is still evolving, and I probably would need a couple more, ceremonies, ayahuasca ceremonies, but I don't know that yet, because I hadn't been really called. But I'm just thinking that in my own head, uh, because because the ayahuasca, I think the mother reveals herself to some people, not probably everybody experience not the same, maybe gradually. And I think that because I continue to have these downloads, that she is still speaking to me, and that was in 2018.
Yes.
But anyway, my life has changed tremendously, upgraded, since having the ayahuasca in Peru.
And that was over 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Mhm. And it's very fascinating. I am still working lavender with an ayahuasca ceremony I had in 2019. It's still it's still integrating.
Okay.
So this ayahuasca, once we imbibe or we receive the sacrament of ayahuasca, the mother within us, she's in us now. She's a part of us. She's a part of our healing. She's a part of our service to humanity. It's
I
not like
believe
you
that.
drink
Yeah.
it and it's gone and it's okay and you get a lesson and that's it. It's an
It-
energy.
yeah. I believe that. And it's a plant medicine, and that is something that I do bring people's awareness to, about the different types of plant medicines that are out there. Of course, people have resistance to it because some of them are illegal, but
Right. That's why we go to Peru, because it is illegal in the United States unless we're in a retreat center where it has been approved by. But yeah, it's illegal in the United States. It's not illegal in Peru.
right, exactly, and so that's a plant herb, a plant medicine, just like herbs are a plant medicine. Sage is a plant medicine, because even the use of sage, to cleanse and all of that, that's medicinal. for the mind, body, and spirit using something as simple as sage. And sometimes sage is, I've discovered, it's a lot more acceptable than some of the other plant medicines.
You mean to the Christian people? Is that what you mean? I don't know what you mean.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean, because I have met people who sage their house.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah, they and they're quote unquote Christians, and they sage their house because they have, I guess, saw videos or whatever that it's a good way to cleanse your home, and get rid of bad energy, and things like that. So yeah, so there's some things that are acceptable and some things that are not. And of course, marijuana or cannabis is a plant medicine too.
Yes, it is.
And so there's so much to bring to awareness of people in the world, and particularly people in my community.
When you say your community, what do you mean by that?
African American community.
Yeah. We have a lot going on in the African American community, especially with regard to diabetes. I'm so happy for your work because there's so much going on in the community with the diabetes.
Yeah. And there's healing out there available to people with type 2 diabetes if they would just take a look at it, like and know that their doctor is not the boss of them, and that their body will actually let them know what's good for it if they listen.
If they listen.
Yeah.
You told me something fascinating one time about the diabetes experience and African American people and people who are thinking their doctor is the boss of them. That when you even speak of cinnamon, that they said they have to ask their doctor if they can take cinnamon. Cinnamon is not a drug.
Right. It's in the kitchen.
But you have to ask your doctor. So what is that about?
I don't know. One of the things I've discovered is that most people don't want to take responsibility for their own life. They actually want it to belong to someone else. So that's why they follow the doctor's instructions and, do what the doctors say, because they really don't, at the end of the day, don't want to be responsible. But we are responsible for our life. We're responsible for our wellness. And then, I guess it's like they're waiting on, somebody to blame later, because people are lawsuit happy. So like, if I take on responsibility, I can't sue anybody. But if I do what he says, then if it doesn't turn out right, I can sue him.
And you saw a lot of that too in the medical profession, didn't you?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. As a visiting nurse, I saw a lot. I heard that word, I'm going to sue him, so much when I was a visiting nurse. When I go into the people's homes, he didn't do that right, or whatever, and I'm going to sue them. And so I'm sure the United States is lawsuit happy anyway.
It's not very lawsuit happy. I think 80 to 90% of the world's attorneys operate in the United States. Yeah. United States, I'm suing you. I don't like your socks.
Right.
I mean, it's
a quote unquote quick way to get some money.
Yes, absolutely. And that's why everybody's got this insurance, because they're waiting for people to sue them, which is very fascinating.
Yeah, and it makes it very difficult and challenging for doctors because, they have to pay all this high lawsuit, insurance, just in case someone sues them. And there is this period of time, like a big period of time, where someone can come back later, 10 years later sometimes, and sue you for something you did, 20 years ago, 5 years ago, so.
Yeah. What was very fascinating about this lawsuit experience is when I was a financial planner at American Express, when I first started, because you're signing to get an actual franchise, they have to disclose to you all the current lawsuits against American Express Financial Advisors, American Express Cards, and all their subsidiaries. It was a binder about that thick.
Oh wow. Oh, okay.
They say, here you go. Here are all the current lawsuits against all the American Express companies. And when I read through some of these lawsuits, these things sound ridiculous. They sound frivolous, yet they have to have their day in court, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So it's very interesting. You can't sue your financial advisor if your investments go down.
Well, because you should have known it was a risk, right?
You signed the papers that said, I know what this is. I know the risks involved. I understand that I cannot sue you. If the stock market goes down, you can't sue somebody because you're in the stock market. I mean, yeah. But
Yeah, that's the same. That's how it works with pharmaceutical medications. You know, you get the literature that comes with it, and it says you can get this, and you can do that, and you can also die. So they have all of that in there because they're covering themselves in case something does happen and you want to sue. So really, you know, it's just there for the protection of the company. You know, that they have to cover themselves so that they don't get this lawsuit because you died and you took this medicine and you didn't know you were allergic to it. So all of that.
And it's very possible that a lot of people are dying from these meds. That's why taking personal responsibility for our well-being, for our wellness, for our own body is key. For our spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, financial health and well-being is the answer.
Yes, that's well said. Thank you.
Yes,
that is right. That is the answer.
Lab here, and if it doesn't work out, I'll sue you.
But you chose to take that medication. That's right. That is what they'll say in the courthouse. You chose to take it. Even though you read all that paperwork, you read everything, but you still took it.
Yeah. And it makes me really happy for your work because your work is of a preventative nature.
Yes.
And if people take this holistic preventative approach to their wellness, maybe they're already on meds, then maybe that they can slow down on the meds as they get better and better and better with their health professionals' help, right?
Right.
Maybe they are not in harm's way yet, but they see their numbers on their sugar going a little too high or the blood pressure going a little too high. They can start doing the things that you're talking about and start to get that under control so that they don't wind up with a much worse outcome.
Exactly. And one of the key things is self-education. Like do your own research, educate yourself about your disease. As a visiting nurse, I came across a lot of patients who didn't even know some of the signs and symptoms of their disease. And they'd had the disease for 5 years, but they could not tell me anything about it. So as a visiting nurse, we had to educate people on their disease process, the chronic diseases particularly. You've had this long and you don't know what caused it. You don't know what the signs and symptoms or issues or complications that you can get from it. People didn't know. So I encourage people to self-educate. It is so important to know as much as you can about yourself, about your body, about the disease. Just educate yourself. That's my whole thing. Bringing awareness to the big picture here.
And you even, wrapping up this conversation, you even went and did speaking in many places where our older people were. Of course, this was pre-2020, right? We did a lot of speaking engagements with our older people, our elders, and they had good responses. Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I went to the 55 and up apartment complex places where senior citizens lived, those that were 55 and up. And we would have like 1 hour to an hour and a half educational spots, and brought awareness to not just diabetes, but just health in general. And it was well received. I sold some of my books there every time I would go. And I even had people talk to me about, becoming a client if they were a diabetic. But it was very, very good. And I've also done speaking engagements at churches. I did a couple churches. They were small.
They didn't know you was a witch, did they? They didn't know.
No, they didn't know. They didn't know.
Don't need to tell everything. Don't need to
tell everything. Right. So, because I don't want to have anything happen that would make it not be where I can go and touch people, right?
Not heal people, right? Just because people have their fears.
Yeah. So anyway, yes. So thank you for reminding me about that. And I'm looking forward to the doors opening back up for us to do that again.
Oh, for sure. Now, the last question I have for you is, what is the connection between witches and hair?
I used to know that. I don't.
Do you remember we had a conversation?
No. Actually, I think it was like one of our first sessions, and you mentioned to me because my hair is untamed, and I used to wear my hair like press and comb, and all slick, and I stopped doing that, and I just let my hair be natural, and it is naturally wavy, and it's naturally wiry and untamed, and that is a characteristic of being a witch.
Yes, it is.
And if people look at photos, I mean, good photos of witches, you will see that the hair is frayed or frazzled or, wiry. And I think it's because it's like electricity, like we're connected some kind of way to the universe.
With the universe.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like antenna. Hair is like antenna.
Right. And when I was doing all that press and comb and perming it and all of that, I think it was probably messing with that some kind of way. And I just stopped doing it. I actually stopped doing it before I came on, before I became one of your clients. It was naturally this way.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. Your hair is so beautiful.
Thank you.
I fought with my hair for a long time until I said, okay, you win. And as soon as I said, okay, you win, be what you will be, I found so much peace and happiness with my crown. And yeah, sometimes it will go this way and sometimes it wants to go that way. I'm okay with it. I really am. And there is a connection there, the crown with the universe. And my daughter does hair, and she does locks. She does natural hair. There's definitely an energetic difference between hair that has been somehow taken out of its state, its natural state, and changed somehow. It changes the energy. So it's good if you can work with whatever you got. Work with it, right? It's nothing wrong with pressing your hair or curling your hair or perming your hair, whatever you want to do. We do recognize that our crown is connected to the universe. So just work with that information however you want to work with it, right?
Yeah, thank you for reminding me of that. That is definitely what has happened for me. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so tell us, I keep saying I have one last question, but this is really going to be my last question. Okay. How was the mystery school for you and all the things that you learned in the mystery school? How was that coming to the Christian Witches Mystery School? How was that?
It was memorable, very, very memorable. Especially when we went to Salem, and we had the conference, the first witches conference.
First ever Christian Witches convention. You were
right. Convention. Yeah, right. That was historic and amazing. I learned a lot there. Learned a lot about myself. Sometimes when we go places, it's like, I'm not sure, like, what am I going to get from here? Even though I have an intention, but I still get surprises, like sometimes the thing that I intended does occur. And then there are things that are like surprises that occur that I didn't expect. I discovered that, the women that were there and men, they were all very, very friendly, very friendly and personable people. They were selfless, if that makes any sense. Like, they were people that you would definitely want to know. And I made a lot of friendships being a part, of the program and the mystery school. I learned things about the Bible that I had no clue about, because I don't know if you remember, like, I don't remember reading it that way in the Bible. It's like the Bible says that, so just a lot of enlightenment, I would say. So I do encourage people to, go to the mission school, because you're going to learn some things that you had no clue about. And you thought you knew. I thought I knew the Bible because I've been in church a long time. But
you can't tell me about the Bible, because I've been reading the Bible ever since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. I know about the Bible.
Right. It's like I learned so much about the Bible and what Jesus did, what he represents, that my eyes were like wide shut about. Like I didn't see it that way. I don't know if that makes any sense. Yes. But then I was seeing it in a whole different way. The Bible was in a whole nother way. Because the Bible is a tool for training us how to be like Jesus. Yes. But we can't have those blocks, we have to admit that Jesus did some metaphysical stuff. We have to admit that Jesus did healing, and that was crazy back then. Like it wasn't normal for people to be healing people. So he was seen kind of ostracized in a way, the way witches was. I think that's part of the reason they wanted him dead. But amongst other things. But yeah, so I could see how Jesus Christ was the first of many brethren and sisters to do some of the things that he did.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. That is beautiful. Well, Sharon Fant, also known as Lavender, this has been delicious. Thank you so much for giving us your time and your energy. And
well, thank you for allowing me to be here and giving me this opportunity to just say what's so about me and allow me to, express, why I'm here on the planet.
Well, you're doing amazing work, and I thank you. And you are welcome back anytime.